Hi and welcome. I heard Top 5 of the Week is your most important notification, so here I am to make it worth your while with some top picks for you. First is the latest edition of the Africa Regional Overview of Food Security and Nutrition, which brings with it the unsettling news that Africa is not on track to meeting the Sustainable Development Goals 2 targets to end hunger and ensure access by all people to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food all year. This report presents a broad overview of the food systems in Africa and the food consumption patterns across low and middle income African countries. It highlights the importance of prioritizing the transformation of food systems through number one, increased investment in research and extension to improve yields, especially of nutritious foods, and in efforts to diffuse the adoption of modern technologies. 2. Production must be intensified in a sustainable manner and interventions to improve land governance. 3. Empower women to reduce the gender gap. And 4. Reduce post-harvest losses and lower transaction costs by investing in road networks, transportation, and market infrastructure. Up next, and from the Institute of Security Studies, is a policy brief that pitches the idea that migration is a critical climate change resilience strategy. It recommends that 1. African policymakers cannot rely on international frameworks to guide such a local issue. African migration must be addressed via local, national, regional, and continental governance. 2. National agencies need to incorporate climate migration in their health, education, housing, disaster management, urbanization, environment, and development planning. 3. Policymakers should not wait for more evidence to plan for migration as an adaptation measure. Climate vulnerable regions should prepare for out-migration, while cities in more resilient locations should plan for in-migration. OECD countries that view climate-linked migration as a threat should recognize that climate change hazards are directly linked to poverty dynamics. They should invest in building resilient societies through job training, infrastructure, housing, health, and education to improve the possibility of adapting in place. At 5, countries and regions should standardize and collect climate information in their migration data. And the 6th recommendation is that climate change information should be communicated in language-appropriate methods to enable community-led resilience strategies. On African trade, I'm recommending a book titled Africa in the New Trade Environment, Market Access in Troubled Times, that suggests that the effective participation of Sub-Saharan African countries in the ever-evolving global trade environment remains central to boosting growth and development in the region. This is because participation of firms in global trade is effective in spreading the benefits of new technology to improve overall welfare and increase access to foreign market yields, and increases in productivity, and is central to industrialization prospects and job creation. This book recommends that in order for Sub-Saharan African countries to increase their market access globally, they must take bold domestic structural reforms as well as leverage on regional integration to scale up their supply capacity to effectively pursue global market opportunities. Next is the status of digital agriculture in 47 Sub-Saharan African countries that showcases the potential for digital agriculture transformation in Sub-Saharan Africa. This potential is enabled by the continent's youthful population and increased mobile penetration. The report highlights challenges to this digital transformation, such as 1. Limited infrastructure in rural areas, 2. Insufficient funding for agriculture, 3. Inadequate investment in research and development, and 4. Agro-innovation and agricultural entrepreneurship. The report recommends that existing policies on information and communication technologies in these countries should be aligned to existing agricultural policies. Finally, is the 2021 Africa Governance Report that presents evidence-based and objective reviews on the state of African governance towards attaining long-term political, social, and economic stability and development on the continent. It highlights the best governance practices, identifies governance constraints and challenges, and makes recommendations for enhanced governance in Africa. These recommendations include unified efforts to address development deficits and conflicts and marginalization of populations, and reversing environmental destruction. There you have it. Enjoy the rest of your week. Goodbye.